Hello everybody. Today I'm excited to show you a live demonstration of a piece of software called UFF Converter Pro, a tool we've built to solve a real problem that engineers face every day. If you work with vibration data or modal analysis, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Getting UFF files into Excel shouldn't be this hard, but it is. So we've built something to fix that. Let me start with framing the problem. UFF files, or Universal File Format files, they're absolutely everywhere in our field. Every vibration test, every modal analysis produces these files. But here's the thing. They're the industry standard, which is great for data exchange, but when you need to actually analyze that data in Excel, or create a report for management or share results with colleagues who don't have specialized software, that's when the pain starts. Manual conversion is tedious, it's error-prone, it's difficult, and frankly, it's a waste of your time as an engineer. So here's what we built. UFF Converter Pro is a Windows desktop application that makes this conversion dead simple. It handles all the major dataset types you're actually working with, type 58 for frequency response, type 55 for modal data, and all the supporting types. It automatically generates your charts, magnitude plots, phase plots, Nyquist plots, all ready to drop into your reports. And it reads binary format files, type 58B, not just ASCII. This is important because a lot of modern test systems output binary for file size reasons. The interface itself is intentionally simple, and you're going to see a live demonstration in a second. There's only 3 steps in it, that's it. In step 1, add your files. You can drag and drop individual files or drop an entire folder structure. There's a checkbox to include subdirectories if you need to process nested folders. You can choose your output format, Excel or CSV. If you choose Excel, you can enable automatic chart generation. Just check the boxes for the charts you want. You can click Process. You'll see real-time process as it converts each file. And of course, there's batch processing that is built in. I've tested this with hundreds of files at once. It just works. Now let me talk about the quality of the output, because this matters for your reports and presentations. The charts are Excel native, not images, actual Excel charts. So you can edit them, change colors, modify labels, whatever you need. Magnitude versus frequency, phase versus frequency, Nyquist plots, they're all there. The data formatting is proper. Headers show you what data set you're looking at, where the response and reference points are. Complex numbers are handled correctly. You can choose real, imaginary, or magnitude phase output. Metadata from the UFF file is preserved as well. And there are settings for different preferences, degrees or radians for phase, smart sampling for very large data sets so your charts don't become unreadable. All of this is configurable. Now let me show you how this actually works. Here's what we'll cover in the demo. First, a live conversion of real UFF files, actual files for modal tests. We'll look at the Excel output with automatic charts. I'll show you batch processing with multiple files. And we'll look at the advanced settings so you can customize the behavior. Now let's see this software in action. When you download the software from our website, it'll come down in a zip folder. You can either double-click it and go inside and just run the installer from the zip folder, or you can extract this optionally somewhere in your computer and run it that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and extract it. It's usually a good idea to do that every time. I'm going to go ahead and uncompress it, and here's my installer. I'm going to double-click it. It will go ahead and ask for my permission. And here's the setup. It'll ask you to sign our EULA agreement. You're going to click next. You're going to create a shortcut if you wish. And then the installer will start doing its thing, and it will install the software on your computer. The software works with Windows 10 and 11. Let's start looking at the software itself. I've prepared some sample UFF files. I have 6 here. They cover a wide variety of types you might encounter in the wild: 58, 58B, 2414, 2411, and so on. And we're going to start loading them using the software, converting them to Excel, and looking what happens after we do that. So when the software starts, it'll look something like this, and it'll open up step 1 for you, where you can do something with it. It's enabled. You can see it's step 1 is highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and drag my sample document folder, UFF folder, into the first box in step 1. And it will automatically read the folder. I have 6 files, and it will allow me to proceed with step 2, step 3, and the processing itself. After I've selected the files in step 1, the step 2 and 3 will become available. Now in step 2, you select how you want to see the output and what do you want to see in that output. So the default is Excel, separate sheets, and all the graphs enables. I'm going to leave that alone. This is the most interesting use case. You can of course select CSV here and pick your delimiter, but this of course will not generate any graphs. So we're going to stick with Excel for the purposes of this demonstration. The next thing you're going to have to do is select destination folder, and you can select also an option to output files to separate file per UFF or single combined file. I'm going to stick with separate files for clarity. So I'm going to click the select destination, and I'm going to select my output folder in my sample directory that I've already created previously, and I'm going to go ahead and click process UFF files. Notice how fast this goes. This is already done. Now I didn't have very large data sets here. You could have a 1 megahertz file that's, a million rows, and that will take longer. But these smaller files will generate in no time. Let's take a look at what we got with that processing. So let's take a look at our output. This is the directory where we placed all the files that we processed. And notice they have an extension. We try to add a unique extension and not overwrite what's in the output directory. It'll just keep creating new extensions. You can delete them yourself if you wish, but we try not to delete anything. So let's take a look at this file here. This generated a nice looking Nyquist plot with a bunch of data that you see in Excel, separating the real from imaginary numbers. And this file only had 1 data set, so you only see 1 tab. If it had multiple data sets, you would see tabs going across here. Let's take a look at an example like that. Let's take a look at this 2411 and so on. And you can see that all the data sets are separated in separate tabs in Excel. We can also take a look at another example. Here's another one. This one has a less interesting Nyquist plot, but you see the point. It does create a nice looking graph that you can modify anywhere you wish. This is from real data. So this was our original output. Now let us make a change in the settings. I'm going to click on the settings button, and I'm going to say, instead of separate real imaginary columns, let's look at the magnitude and phase columns for processing. This will generate different types of charting in your Excel output. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click process UFF files again. Same thing, same exact thing. Now these are our original files that we processed. I'm going to do it again. Notice it will add an additional file under each title. In other words, it didn't overlay our original file, but added a new one. So let's take a look at some of these results. Now let's take a look at the results from the separating of the magnitude and phase. We changed it, remember, from real imaginary to magnitude phase. Now you'll notice that in our output directory, we now have a second set with the same beginning file name. So let's take a look at what we got after we after we changed that option. So now we have different graphs available to us. We have the magnitude and phase graphs, and of course the magnitude and phase data in radians, which is an option in the option setting. Let's take a look at another one. So here's dataset 58. Let's take a look at what this looks like. And this one also has frequency response and frequency response phase. Finally, let's take a look at some additional options. First of all, there's extensive help available. I can go ahead and click on this question mark button, and you can scroll down and you can read all about the different options and different processing settings you can do. You can also open the log file. Let's take a look at this for a second. The log file will tell you exactly what we processed. how long it took, what was in there, and how many graphs were generated. And you can see where the data was output to. So this is very useful if you want to see what happened. Next thing, we're going to take a look at some options that you can still set also. Let me make you aware of a couple of settings that you may be interested in. So if you click on this gears icon here and scroll down, there is a very important setting for how often the software will plot a data point in a chart. This is meant for really large data sets. Let's say you have a set with something like 100,000 rows. So this setting will plot every thousandth point. This means that you will see the entire frequency spectrum from the beginning to the end, but it will not plot the entire thing, because in Excel plotting 100,000 rows is problematic. You'll see a very strange and messy graph. This attempts to kind of give you a graph that is easier to look at and manipulate. You can change this. You can plot every 10,000 points. You can go in here and change this to 10,000 if you like. Also, with this setting, if you have a file that has less than 1,000 points, it'll plot the entire file. So this is very helpful when working with larger files. The other thing, of course, you can do is change the phase units from degrees to radians. And you can uncheck the preserve metadata headers in your output. Finally, and this is very important, let's talk about support. We support our software 100%. First of all, let's say you run into some kind of an issue. You can, of course, go to our website. We have a contact page. Send us an email or call us through that. Or if you're in the software and you need help, there's a button here with headphone set, which is support. If you click on that, you will get our contact information and you can send us an email right from here. We answer all support questions very quickly. We try to do everything within 24 hours. Very often it's much quicker than that. So here's our email, here's our phone number, and you can send us an email for support right from this page right here in the software, which is very convenient. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I hope you take a look at our software. Please send us any comments. Thank you very much.